All right. The second brain bug that we're talking about is believing sexual addiction is just about our sexual struggles. Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that we learn pretty early on in recovery in pure desire groups is that sexual addiction is not about sex. It's not about how sexual you are or if you're like a pervert or whatever or have this high sex drive. Sexual addiction is a behavior that we've learned to use as a medication to numb out pain and trauma. And I think that as we go in recovery, and this is what's funny, like I think growing up, one of my bigger wounds was feeling like I wasn't heard or feeling like I wasn't, my perspective wasn't cared for. And Nick, you kind of talked about it earlier that once I had kids, there are literally these physical manifestations of things that don't care about your wants or your perspectives. And so it was as if this new context was revealing to me the wounds I thought I had worked on. Like, oh, I thought but it's this new creature that's just poking you in the eye, And so I think that that's part of it is understanding that those pain points, those traumas you have or the wounds that you have, they haven't gone away. You've maybe dealt with them, but they're being maybe poked or rubbed up against is another way. Like I've had a pastor and a counselor say that if there's an open wound there, when you rub up against it, it like hurts. And so there's new things that rub up against it. And so I think that is why this becomes a brain bug is because you just assume because I've gotten some health sexually that therefore the things that were motivating me to pursue that behavior in the first place aren't there anymore, and they are.
Yeah, the way I hear this come up is when guys or gals are kind of counting sobriety, and that's their main focus of it's been X number of days and I haven't acted out. I haven't looked at porn in 14 months. I haven't relapsed in a year and a half. And that's great. But if that's their primary and only focus, and in some ways, maybe culturally, AA groups set us up for that a little bit, the coins and, I'm 2 years sober. Yeah. It's so focused on the behavior, we're maybe missing that some of the deeper stuff is still in process. So if we haven't learned healthy ways to deal with our anger, if we haven't learned how to be emotionally vulnerable with our spouse, if we haven't developed practices of healthy connection and friendship with other men or other women or with our own kids, if we haven't learned to tell our story with vulnerability and truth and owning our past, then we're really not that healthy. We're just free of the behavior. So I think that's where people get stuck in, well, it's been so long, I thought I was good to go. And then they come back around and realize, oh, there's more under the surface. And that's what I love about the Compassionate Warrior, honestly, is I think it's going to take you into a lot of those things in more ways even than the 7 Pillars of Freedom did for men, that it's going to help you unpack, am I really creating lasting health or just counting sobriety days? Because it's important to be sober, don't get me wrong there, but we want to see that it's a much bigger picture of health that we're moving towards.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As I was going through the Compassionate Warrior and kind of looking through it, I remember telling Heather, I think I was in the second or third lesson in the tools. I'm like, I go to her and I'm like, okay, this is difficult. I think I need some more counseling.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been doing this for years, and it's like you deal with like the sexual stuff, right? But maybe I haven't dealt with a lot of the family of origin stuff and a lot of other pain. So you either medicate with porn, masturbation, or drugs, or alcohol, whatever it is. It's just another coping mechanism that we're using. And if we don't, like you said, if we're not willing to face the pain from the past, we're just going to keep, acting out. And then that we talk about comorbidity. We're just going to keep trading one. Oh, I can't look at porn anymore. So, I'm going to turn to food. Well, I can't eat more. So you just keep cycling through them.
It's like you ping pong back and forth between those old behaviors.
Yeah. And you can even find behaviors that aren't necessarily bad or negative at the outset, but they become that if you're not careful.
Habit forming.
Yeah.